All right, Betting Weekly Tennis Live back again. All part of the Bet Rivers Network. Download the app, get in on the action. This show is brought to you, as always, with the social channels because we win. The X account, the Instagram, the YouTube account. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. We've got tennis all across Europe and Asia. We've got a live window. We've got discussions and some future markets as well. Mitch Michael's a host along with Nigel Seeley. Nigel, welcome back to the show. Always interesting this time of year, right, to have some live tennis and discuss. I can even hear myself in there. It's great.
I don't know what it's. I've just reposted the stream. What it was, it took me ages to get my phone working, Mitch. And I usually turn my phone off when the show starts, and I've been putting my phone on, and it took me ages. I don't know what's happening to me. It takes ages to repost my phone when I turn it off. But anyway, I'm back now. Sorry, we're not in echo. Don't worry about it. The sound system is good. I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm doing great.
What was your question? It was always a bit strange this time of year.
It's this time of year we got the live window back, right? Like, so we're back to monitoring where we are in terms of like action in Europe, the indoor hard court, which I kind of like, the acoustic. Speaking of the sound, right? Like I was watching Stockholm and indoor, like it's kind of nice to see and hear, some thumpers, especially this Fritz match we were watching, right? Like where it's really impressive to see what these players can do and maintain their level in 11 months of a season.
Well, we got a very interesting match straight into the live window here, and we're watching that sort of. It's an end of season Taylor Fritz, who doesn't look. I don't think. I think it's fair to say the comments he's made in the last few weeks that he's feeling it after a long year, and he's up against the man at the moment, Valentin Vacherot. Obviously, Vacherot sensationally won the 1,000, and he's a player that a lot of eyes will be on him. I wondered whether he could keep that level up after winning that 1,000. Not in terms of the fans, but in terms of the media attention it's going to be on him. I mean, what he did in Shanghai was such an incredible story. Come through as 1,000 to 1 outsider. He started off today around about plus 480 with Bet Rivers against Taylor Fritz. He's taken the first set 6-4. And if you were watching this match now, Vacherot is a much better player. He's very aggressive. He looks fit. He looks as though he hasn't hardly. What is he before last week? He only played one tournament in the main draw, and that was Monaco in his hometown. Now he's in another 500, playing the best tennis of his life, and he's looking good. I mean, currently on the Bet Rivers app, minus 165 Vacherot, plus 132 Taylor Fritz. Spread is 2.5 in Vacherot's favour, and 28.5 the total. And he was plus 380, plus 480, sorry, before. So Vacherot's looking good here. Fritz has got it all to do.
Yeah, he took that week off, which I think was good, right? He didn't go right to it. He kind of reset, recharged, got the wild card, drew Fritz early, and maybe too, Nigel, as we look at the live odds where Fritz is plus 123 on serve, 2-1. Fritz is serving 1-2, I should say. But I think for Fritz too, you talk about fatigue factor. He's in the ATP finals, so he knows he's got a Paris event coming up, followed by the final. So I do wonder if he's trying to save what little is left in the tank. But yeah, for Vacherot, like we always talk about the long season. Vacherot's the guy that probably wants to just keep playing, right? Like he's playing the best tennis of his life. Why slow down? And the confidence is there. So I think if he wins this match, he's a live player to win, not just this, but going as far as he can. And it's impressive.
He's on a 9-match unbeaten run. This will take him to a perfect 10. I mean, how far can that run go? I mean, you make me laugh. It's slightly about Taylor Fritz there. Taylor Fritz is saying that he took the he's exhausted and he's saving himself for the Tour Championships. He didn't really bother about it. He wasn't too concerned when he flew to Saudi Arabia last week to pick up the big check in the tournament over there in the Six Kings tournament when he beat Zverev and then got beat by Alcaraz. Obviously beat Djokovic as well. But Djokovic had to retire. That was he must have come back with $500,000 there. He didn't seem to be too worried then, did he, about the end of the season and the stress? And now he's had to fly back in a 500 in Basel. He's suddenly thinking, it's been a long season for him. Funny that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's like with Sinner, too. He's the other live match going on right now. Sinner's up a set double break, about to go closing time on Altmaier. He's gotten a lot of criticism for his schedule recently because he plays Six King Slam and wins it. He's in Vienna, which, he's not going to skip out on the Italian-Austrian tournaments. But he won't be playing Paris. He's going to go to the ATP finals, but he's not playing Davis Cup for his country. So schedules are tough, and we know these players prioritize what they need to. But, yeah, there's certain events where the money is going to be a factor in what they play.
Well, I mean, it's everything, isn't it? The money to these guys is what it is. I mean, they know they're could burn themselves out in 3 or 4 years' time with the way that the Canada's going at this moment in time. So they've got to get as much cash in the bank as they possibly can. I'd do the same. Would you do the same? But
Yes.
I think the thing is here is that you'll see different levels. Taylor Fritz here, the traveling back from Saudi into Switzerland's a long journey. Vacherot obviously he's got a week off to sort of go back with his family, realize what he's done. And this is an incredible performance. If he could win this match, then we may have we could go on this incredible run. But I think the run has to come to an end here. I think he's got the beating of Fritz here though. He's looked much the better. Minus 150 in play. Wouldn't be betting him minus 150, but minus 2.5 is minus 109. And he's already covered 2 already in the first set by winning that first set 6-4. So if he wins in straight sets, you're going to cash. I quite like the minus 2.5 at minus 113.
Well, we have a couple matches later. We got one match that's going to start probably while this show's still going on, the final match today in Basel. And you actually have a play on this one, Nigel. Jensen Brooksby is a slight underdog taking on Davidovich Fokina, minus 139 Fokina, Brooksby plus 115. It's razor thin on Bet Rivers with a 1.5 game spread, 22.5 over under. But tell me why the American here is where we're going with Brooksby, who's looked pretty solid so far as a slight dog, is in a winnable spot.
I watched his match against Muller in round 1. I was extremely impressed with him. He served exceptionally. We know he's got a big serve. We know sometimes he loses a little bit of concentration, but when he's on it and he's serving well, he's a very tough opponent. This is a very, very quick indoor court here in Basel, and I think the conditions will absolutely suit him. Davidovich Fokina, to be fair though, did play well against Sonego. He recovered from it was a 4-1 down in set number 1. It was an early breakdown. He recovered back and won in straight sets against Sonego, but Sonego's level dropped a lot in that match. I thought Brooksby was a real big takeout from round 1. And if you look at it as well, it backs it up with the head-to-head. If you look at their record, 2021 they played in Antwerp, indoor hard, and Brooksby, in the quarterfinals, Brooksby played Davidovich Fokina, and he won 7-5, 6-love. Now, Davidovich Fokina has just recently got married. He's a player that looks to me, would I trust him on an indoor court, a fast indoor court? Not for me. I think Brooksby want to end the season high, want to do the best after what's been a disappointing season. There has been money for him in the build-up to this match. He's now currently plus 115. I think he was plus 138 yesterday with Bet Rivers. I like the fact that there's been money for him. And at plus money, I like Jensen Brooksby a little bit later on to beat Davidovich Fokina straight on the money line, straight in. I like that a lot. I know Sean Calvert is with me as well. We spoke about this match yesterday on Game Bet Match. Sean Calvert is on that as well. Right. So that's good. That's good enough for me.
The only other match right now that's scheduled for later today is the final one in Vienna. We got Minaur, who's just notched his 300th career win. The Demon taking on Misolic. Misolic is a pretty sizable underdog. That game spread's 5.5. Is there a favorite bet play here? Is there any recommendations, Nigel? You'd say Minaur looks pretty tough as he tries to finish his year strong, or is the underdog able to cover one of these lines here?
Well, Misolic made tough work yesterday against Ugo Carabelli in a match that he shouldn't have made tough work in. Carabelli is there for the taking on an indoor hardcourt. I mean, Misolic made that tough for him. He got beat by Max Shack in round 1 in Stockholm, which is a poor performance from him. His Chandler events hasn't been great. I mean, he's only won 3 of his last 10 matches. Minaur is in good form. I think he's been one of the takeouts on the year. If you ask me this season, I mean, Jannik Sinner's levels have been exceptional, but I think it's been a sensational year for Ben Shelton, a sensational year for Minaur as well. He's got the Tour Championship to play in. I think the motivation for him here to do well in this tournament and go deep and guarantee that spot ahead of Paris is perfect. I see no problems at all for the favourite here, and I think he'll probably cover the spread as well.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. You could look at straight sets, or you can just look at the game line. But Minaur has been a beast, and he's gearing up for it too. I think it's a tough spot for the underdog in this one, as Fritz is trying to hold to get to 2-all. He's got an ad on his serve.
I mean, that price though, Minaur, just the price is very low. It's high, 1667 minus. You got to stake $16,667 to win 100. 5.5 is the spread with Bet Rivers, and it's minus 152. So that's an 18.5 is the total. So it is low. I don't see any problems. I'm trying to find the best way to get it. I mean, 2-0 Minaur is minus $4. Maybe flick it up to -6,
Yeah.
-6.5, and go up on the little toggle on the Bet Rivers app. Gives you +143. So that could
Yeah.
be the way to go rather than the 5.5 at the heavy minus money.
I'm just thinking too, what's under Game's first set? If you want to get him to start, if you want to just sprinkle different ways,
First
maybe
set,
that's
first unders are around about 9.5.
Yeah.
That's usually what you'll be looking at in a match like this. So 9.5, but I'm guessing 9.5 would be 9.5 is favourite, -148. You're betting over. If you want to go 8.5, which is a little bit more risque, it's only +133 under 8.5.
Wow.
I think the 6.5 handicap's the best way to play there.
All right. We'll monitor that as it's 2-2 in the second set, Fritz and Vacherot. We've also got future markets for women in a couple big matchups, a lot of implications for the race to the finals and just different matchups. Let's start with Tokyo, the 500 level event. As we look at the future markets here, we got Rybakina, who is playing for the final spot. If she can win a couple more matches, she's the favorite. Alexandrova, who she beat last week in the final, is +450, along with Mukova. Noskova, who won a thrilling 3-set match against McCartney Kessler last night. There you see the rest of the contenders. Victoria Mboku, who's looking pretty dangerous, as well as Leyla Fernandez, who won a title last week. So there's your outright board, Nigel. What are the first thoughts as we look at this? Who has value and who are players maybe worth backing at this stage in the game?
Well, I think the first thing is you've got to look for motivation at this time of the season, and obviously on this draw, there's only one person that's motivated, really motivated, and that's Rybakina. Obviously, she won the tournament last week. It's got to win back-to-back tournaments. It's very rare. And on any other given week, I'll be saying you'll be crazy to bet her at +250. But I've bet her at +250, so I must be crazy. Obviously, I think the conditions will suit her. She's got a tough match tomorrow, which we're going to come on to a little bit later. And she's playing Mbuku in the quarterfinals if she wins that match. Her route is pretty tough. But if she gets to the semi-finals, she will guarantee her spot in the Tour Championships over in Saudi. And that is a huge motivation for her. All the other players look spent on the year. They're done for the season. They've got nothing to play for. And that gives a massive tick in the box. Mbuko, though, today, I don't know. Did you watch the match today against Lee's?
I watched some of it. It was over pretty fast.
Well, I didn't watch the match, but was it a fact that Mbuku was excellent or Lai was just awful? I mean,
it was a little of both, but Mbuku has that thing where she redlines where it's time and space, right? She takes it away. And I thought out of the jump, the big thing with her too is her serve can kind of go away from her. Her serve was pretty solid. That was part of it, just maintaining. But it was a bad day at the office for Lise. But Mbuku was proven that she's a streaky player and really hadn't won a match before since Canada going into this one. So it's funny how, right, like the storyline is Rybakina has to go through 2 Canadians to get to the final, to get to the WTA Tour finals. So if she can beat 2 tough players, which I think I like her against Fernandez, Nigel, just because Leyla's played a lot of tennis. And even in this tournament, getting through Sakari, I think Rybakina has some advantages there. But it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk to get to Saudi Arabia.
Well, I bet Mbuku last week and she got beaten round 1, typically of my luck. And usually when I bet someone the week before, they go on the win the next week. But I mean, to 2 matches for this week for Mbuku, the win against Andreescu, 6-3, 6-3, and it's a back that with a 6-1, 6-1 win today. That is eye-opening stuff for someone that was going into the US Open that's probably 5th or 6th favourite to win the tournament. I think she was 7th favourite to win the tournament. In a tournament like this at double-figure prices, she's a danger, and I worry about that. But the other person I quite like, there's one other person I like in the top half of the draw, which I think is a weak draw. We're going to come on to the match in a minute, but I've actually backed Jaqueline Cristian at 50 to 1. Okay. She's currently 33 to 1. She's had a brilliant run last week to the semi-finals in Osaka, where she got beaten in the semi-finals with Valentova. She won the first set and had opportunities to win that match. She was a big dog in that match, but she played really well. And she's up against Alexandrova. I'm going to come on to the reasons why I want to oppose Alexandrova when we go on it. But the reason I like her is a lot of people sometimes look at players in the women's draw and the men's draw as well, and only look at the top end of the players and think, it's if they win that, they can finish top 10, or if they win that, they can get in the Tour Championship. Yeah. But I like tournaments like this where you have a bunch of players that if they have a run deep, they could be in the top 32 at the end of the season, which means there's a good chance that they could be seeded for the Australian Open. And she's just in that category. Her form has been, she's ended the season really well. She's suddenly become someone that was always a clay court who can play a little bit well on hard courts. And I think there's an opportunity for her in Alexandrova because she's the only seed in that quarter. I think Alexandra is going to be very tired after her exertions this week, and I think if we can get her past that match, to get her on at 33-1. And the other thing about it is if Rybakina does get to the semi-final, that's job done for her.
Yeah, exactly.
So is she going to ease up once she gets to the semi-final? She's going to think, I've done it. I've got nothing to play for. So I'm looking at someone who I think can get to the final and take advantage of that because there is that likelihood that when she gets to the semi-final, she's like, my job's done. I can rest now and put my feet up. I've done my business.
The name I like on that list is Karolina Muchova. I think she's looking healthy again. I think at number 15. I think part of it is, as you say, on the other side of Rybakina, if they ever do cross paths, it'd be a job done situation. So that's one that I like. She looks healthy and fit, and we'll see. But yeah, I think that's part of it, right? Who is motivated to not just get to the semis and final, but win the whole thing? So yeah, I think it's good. We also have a future market in Guangzhou, the 250 event. We'll look here on that one, and it is Jay Schwang at the top, Putin-Seva plus 550, and Lee, who's playing some great tennis. And you see the rest of the contenders there. We got a lot of match play as well, but this is an interesting one, Nigel. We got a 250 event. We don't have a real prohibitive favorite. There's a lot of names on that list of players that could use a win and are searching for maybe some momentum to end 2025. But do we have a player or two that we're looking at in this tournament to back as the rounds progress?
I think it's this. You can see by the betting how difficult this tournament is. This is a very, very hard tournament. Again, if you're going through to my reasoning about players and they're wanting to end form and get into the season, into the top 32, you're looking at players like Anli. She's currently 44 in the world rankings. A good win here will take her up to probably around about 36 in the world rankings. So she could make a late stage to finish in the top 32 and try to get seeded. You're looking at other players in and around that kind of market. That's where I'll be going. But I think this is one of the toughest tournaments of the year, actually, so far to have a bet on. I think it's so hard.
We got a comment here. One of our guy D Johnson wants to know about Tomljanovic and McNally and over, as well as Putin-Seva and Seidel over. So, I mean, kind of similar to what you said, right? This is tough. Maybe you just look at some overs and some play. Iowa has played very well in getting back to form, getting to this point. I'd say maybe that one I'm more likely to look at the over. Putin-Seva, Seidel. Seidel had beaten Emma Navarro over the summer, and I think you never really know what to expect from Putin-Seva. But the over situation in this tournament, would that be something you're looking at maybe cautiously?
I think again. I think it's difficult this time. I sound like I'm sitting on the fence and just not answering the question, but I genuinely think it's what's in the mindset of the player. If a player goes a set down, have they got enough fight in them in the middle of October to go and battle when they know that the season's over next week, when they've got 2 months rest or 2.5 months of rest? So it's whether if Tomljanovic goes a set behind, I think she's more of a battler and they might want to come back. She might have something to prove. If McNally goes a set behind, is she got in there to fight? I'm not sure. So I think it's so difficult to have a bet in terms of how on total because we don't know. If it was the middle of the season, I'd say we'll bet them both, but this summer season.
No, I gotcha. I would say as we go to the board here for WTA matches, these are two that we like. Certain players, if you're coming back from an injury, maybe you have more in the tank and you want to notch those wins. But yeah, if you've been healthy and around, it might be looking ahead to next year, but which is just a couple months away. But there you see a couple matches there. Anna Bondar, a favorite over Claire Liu. Zhu Wang is a slight favorite as well. So it's a tough board. I would look to say maybe you back underdogs just on value, Nigel, because you don't really know what to expect. You're trying to find the best underdog value as we go.
Yeah, well, we've tried that in the men's tournament yesterday, and every favourite won. So it's not really.
So maybe not.
It's not. It's a difficult one. On those match there, that Cocciaretto match. I mean, if you can put the graphic back up there for me, Mitch. I mean, that Cocciaretto match against Wang. I'm quite surprised that Cocciaretto's seen a bit of money today. There has been a market move towards her with Bet Rivers, which does surprise me. But the -1, to be fair to Bet Rivers, the -107, they're holding that price. Their competitors are a lot shorter. I think that's right because I'd like to take on Cocciaretto here. I watched her match yesterday against she played Parry, And she done her best to throw it away. I mean, it was a real strange match. She had set points in set number 2, threw them away. She had lost the tiebreak in 9-7. It was a strange match, but she battled back. But it must have taken an awful lot out of her, and I think it was a long way out of her. Wang, on the other hand, I watched her play Francesca Gomes, the British girl, who's a decent player, and she was excellent. She won 6-4, 6-4. She really, really played well. And obviously, this tournament being over in the Far East, I think that gives her a little bit of an advantage here. And I think Cocciaretto is worth taking on. I'm surprised the market likes her. So I'm going to go for Wang here. If you look at their hard court record this season, Cocciaretto's played 21 matches on the hard court, only won 8. Obviously at a higher level than what Wang has played. So she's obviously played tougher opponents. But Wang's played 26 hard court matches this year and won 17. So she's got a much better the record. The last time they played was in the French Open in 2021, which was on a clay court, which you would expect Cocciaretto to hold the advantage on. Wang won it. And I think here in the Far East, I think Wang is a bet. Unfortunately, Bet Rivers aren't giving me much of my money on. They're in the same way as me, but I'm going to go with Wang as my first leg of my daily double.
All right. We're on the Wang train.
On the Wang. Oh, be careful you say that. What's what price? What price is Wang there? On there.
On the board, Wang, we're going at -117.
Yeah, we're going to go with Wang at -117.
Okay. All right. She's on the train there. Fritz gets the break. Fritz up 4-3, set 2. Moves at -278 on the money line. The ebbs and flows of pro tennis. Fritz was teetering, but Vacherot wasn't able to do the kill shot. Now he's in a battle. Down a break, set 2. Tokyo action here on Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Some matches, Nigel, to look at. Boy, there's Fernandez, Rybakina. Rybakina, a huge favorite. 2 matches away from a spot in the tour finals. That's one. And he also had, we mentioned Cristian is +265 against Alexandrova. So the big servers are prohibitive favorites, but these are interesting matchups, Nigel. And do you want to start with the one on the bottom there, Alexandrova, Cristian, since we talked about her on the futures?
Yeah, I got a feeling that this could be a good time to pay Alexandrova. I think for the last few weeks, she's played an awful lot of tennis to try to force her way into the Tour Championships. She's just narrowly missed out. She's finished 10th. She's not going to make it. Mathematically, it's impossible. But she's gone deep in Wuhan, got to the last 16, got beat by Pegula, got to the semi-finals in Seoul, final in Seoul, where she got beat by Iga Swiatek, got to the final in Ningbo against Rybakina. If she had won a couple of those matches, she would have forced her way right into the top 8. And I think that mentally, she's going to be a little bit of a letdown here. And I think that she's going to think to herself, she's got to raise her game again. She had a bye in the round once. It's her first match. I'm not so sure whether she's going to be completely at it in this match. And I think Cristian is, as I said before, I think she's an improving player. I believe that she's got the stronger motivation. Alexandrova will finish the year as a top 10 player. Cristian wants to finish the year as a top 32 player, which gives her an opportunity to play into the seeds in the Australian Open. She's done really well this last couple of weeks. Semi-finals in Osaka, as I said. Good couple of performances on there. Wuhan, she got beat by Rybakina. No disgrace there. But she's an improving player on all surfaces. As I said before, she was notoriously a clay court player. This year on clay, she won 12 and lost 6. On grass, she hasn't won a match, which you expect, when she was a fade at Wimbledon. But what interests me is her hard court record this season. Again, she hasn't played at the top levels of Alexandrova, but she's 21 wins and 14 losses. Alexandrova is 21 wins and 15 losses. Alexandrova here is a very heavy favorite, but I don't see really I'm not quite sure what it is. Like what is her motivation here? So I'm going to take Cristian, not on the money line. I'm going to bet her on the spread. I think 4.5, wasn't it? 4.5 plus, and it's plus. Is it plus 122 or minus 122? I can't remember what the price was. Minus 122. So I'm going to take Cristian Alexandrova. I think it's a good time to fade Alexandrova after a very, very tough run. Lots of tennis. So Wang on the money line.
All right.
Cristian plus 4.5 is my daily double.
All right. Like it. Yeah. Alexandrova worked really hard to get to the top 10 for the first time. She's got her highest ranking of her career, but is out of the race for the finals. So yeah, maybe it's what's the motivation left that she exerted so much energy to get to this point. I like her train of thought. And on the other side, The Rybakina match, Nigel, I just don't know that Leyla, I mean, she beat her in the semis on the way to winning DC earlier this year. That was one of the craziest matches of the year, if you remember watching it, where Rybakina kind of blew it a couple times. I don't know. I mean, I think Rybakina wins. That 4.5, though, is tempting because does Fernandez keep it close with a big server to cover that spread? That would be the one where I would consider betting Leyla. I just don't know that she is going to have enough left to take Rybakina, who's pretty possessed, but that's a big number on the game spread. So I'm curious your thoughts.
Well, both of them are coming in on a tournament win, aren't they? So usually after a tournament win, you want to fade, but it's impossible to fade both
Can't
of them.
fade them both.
Yeah. I look at the total here at 20.5. I think 20.5 is a bit cheap. You know, minus 120 for over 20.5. If you look at their last match in Washington, it was the distance, it was the maximum, 39 games. And that was, this year in a hard court semi-final, 6-7, 7-6, 7-6. In Cincinnati, it was 6-3 to Rybakina. Fernandez won 3-6, 7-6, 6-4. In their last two matches, we've been 4 tie breaks.
Yeah.
So both in great form. I think 20.5 is a low number.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think 20.5 would be the way I'm playing this one. So over 20.5 games.
Yeah, you can, a tiebreak is plus 215 if you want to live a little dangerously as well. I'm going to say it's going to be like a 7-6, 6-4 Rybakina win, which will cover the spread and the over, and you don't even need a third set for it. So there you go. That's what
I think the game's I thought the game would be probably one. I always say that one. I thought 21.5 might be the line at minus 110. So I think it's one lower than what it should be. And obviously both in great form, 20.5 would be where I'm going.
Let's look at the men's matches as we have an update on Fritz right now. Still just plugging along up 5-3, 30 or 15-30, so he can maybe break and then serve first, which would be huge. We've got some matches in Vienna to look at. Matteo Berrettini taking on Cam Norrie. That's an interesting one. Norrie, the British man, just a slight underdog. Berrettini beats Popperin today, looking pretty good. And then Bublik is a favorite, minus 155 over Cerundolo. Bublik still has a chance. He's got a chance for the ATP finals. He need a lot of help, but still alive for that. So we have some slight favorites in Vienna, Nigel. We'll throw the graphic back up, and any one of those matches jump out at you?
I don't think I'll be betting Berrettini at the minus money. I thought he went in the middle of a war today against Popperin. Both of them served amazingly in the first set, 7-6, and he come through 6-3, but he's still not fit to me. Back-to-back wins for Berrettini is very rare. You've got to go back an awful long time to see Berrettini win back-to-back wins. Norrie will just mix it up, make it very difficult for him. Norrie had a brilliant win against Rublev. Norrie's done well at the end of this year. I mean, his run to Shanghai was good. He got beat by Elena Tien in the third round. He did well at the US Open, ran into Novak Djokovic, took a set off Novak Djokovic. He's just the ultimate spoiler, Cam Norrie. And I got a feeling this will be a lot. I quite like the dog here. I wouldn't be betting Berrettini. No way. They've met twice before. They met this year's Australian Open, actually, and Berrettini won it. But Berrettini and back-to-back tennis wins. I'm trying to find out when the last time he won back-to-back match. Let's have a look last time. The last time he won, Monte Carlo. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's very rare.
Any thoughts on Bublik? Do you like him to cover as a favorite here?
I would never bet Bublik as a favourite, really.
That's what I was going
at. Even this version of Bublik is something that I wouldn't want to bet. I think the other thing is with Bublik, we've got to know when he's playing. If he's playing in the morning, he's a fade. If he plays in the evening session, we've got half a chance. Amazing though, the two of them played in the first round of the Australian Open this year. Didn't they? Bublik and Cerundolo wiped him away in straight sets. And if you think about where the two of them have gone in their sort of year path since then, for that match, Cerundolo was minus $2 and Bublik was plus 140.
Wow!
And a year on, the odds have completely changed. So is Bublik suddenly a trustworthy favorite? No.
This is also conditions too. Outdoor, like Cerundolo loves clay, but outdoor hard versus indoor, I think is going to be more of a favorite, more of an edge for Bublik too. I think if you had this match outside, it'd be a little different. But I like Bublik, but I'm with you. I don't know that you can trust him as a favorite.
He did play well though against Tabilo. I must admit. I mean, Tabilo I thought was going to offer a little bit more than what he did, but Bublik did play well.
We have Basel matches as well, too, and then we'll do a recap. How about Stanislav Wawrinka? He became the second oldest man behind Feliciano Lopez this week to win a 500 level match. He beats Kekmanovic. He gets Casper Ruud, who's playing great tennis, huge favorite there. And then Riley Opelka, he beats Sebastian Baez in one of the biggest height mismatches that tennis has seen. And he gets Bodek van der Schulp. Bodek actually a slight favorite, both minus money. So we got the old man Stan taking on Casper, and we've got a little Bodek versus Riley action in Basel.
I think what you do with Stanislav Wawrinka, as my good friend and my co-host on Game Bet Match, Sean Calvert, always tells you to do, is bet him to win the set number one or make it very competitive in set number one. And I think that's the way we do it here. I think for set one, over 9.5 is the way to go. It's minus 132. You could play 10.5, which get you a little bit more plus money. But we do know Wawrinka keeps it very competitive in set number one. Casper Ruud, despite being a clay courter, plays an awful lot of tie breaks and involved a lot of overs, Casper Ruud, if you look at his stats. So I think set number one is where you want to concentrate. I think the match, Ruud will grind him down eventually. But Stan has his moments, especially in the first set. You could bet him to win the first set at plus 250. But I think the better option is over 9.5 games in set number one. In the second match, I think that's quite a difficult one to call. I mean, Botic van der Sandstrup today had a great win, didn't he? An exceptionally good win, played really well. But I mean, how much was his opponent not at it? I mean, it was a terrible, terrible performance in that one. So I'm not.
He's another one, right? He's another one that, as a favorite, you're not really sure with Bodek, right? He kind of likes to work as an underdog. I don't know that I like him in this spot. I think indoor hard court, if it plays a little fast, could suit Riley. Maybe you just take a flyer and go over on games, even that high number. I haven't seen
what was the graphic? 24.5, is it?
It's 25.5.
Wow. Well, I mean, 25.5 is a very high number. Maybe just better tie break in the match. Just a tie break in the match, and then just you're gonna I think that might give you a better bet than that. I mean, Botic van der Sandstrup, I mean, some of his quotes, if you ever read some of his quotes in his press conferences, 1 minute he loves tennis and he's full of it. Next minute he can't, he wants to throw his tennis rackets away. He's a crazy kind of character. But obviously, Opelka is a player that should have done a lot better in his career, given his height and his weapons. Never done it, and it's an interesting one. But I think probably my lean there would be a tie break in the match.
Yeah. Healthy Opelka is good to see. Yeah, Stan, I love that theory. We call it the kitchen sink theory, where it's just emptying the tank for Stan first set. He's got the crowd behind him playing in Switzerland. So maybe to win the set or go over 9.5 games, a smarter bet there.
I could see a tie break set one there. And then him lose a very tight tie break and Casper Ruud run away with it in the second set.
Coming off of that title in Stockholm, Ruud's still playing for an ATP final spot, so he's still in the mix as well. Well, it's been fun, Nigel. Any other matches? Any other thoughts on women's or men's matches we didn't get to? Any leans? I have one I was gonna mention. I do think that, speaking of the women's side, I think if we're talking about live dogs or who could be in the upset alert, I think Gracheva Bencic is one to watch. I don't know that I would put right in pen that Bencic gets there for sure. So just maybe monitor that one. Belinda could be on upset.
What price are we getting for Gracheva?
Gracheva is like +2. I'll pull that up in a second.
+290.
Yeah, +290. I think there's potential there. Belinda's played a lot. I think she can be streaky at times. I think there might be a way to back Gracheva. Maybe not as bold as money line, but I think there's an upset chance there.
Hopefully a day of upsets, hopefully a day of shocks, and hopefully a day we land a daily double. That'd be lovely.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I know you and Sean covered it, but I'm curious the Shelton and Minaur match. I think that's one. I want to see what Ben has, because
we are very confident on Minaur.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. What does Shelton have? He hasn't come back. He's pretty much in the finals. So this is not. There's players that you can ease your way back into. I don't think that's a good draw for Shelton. You can't really ease your way back into a match with Jamie Minaur.
Played him twice this year as well, and got beaten by him twice this year. Minaur won them both, and yet he's a big outsider of Bet Rivers. We couldn't understand the price. I think it was plus 140, 48. Yeah. I couldn't understand where the odds have come from in that match, because I thought Shelton was very, very lucky in his first round match. Didn't play well at all.
Last quick one. Are we on the side of, if Denis Shapovalov's a certain level of favorite, you always kind of fade him a little bit, or because he's got the Royer match and he's a decent favorite?
Yeah, he's a very good indoor record this year. 8 wins from 9 matches. Do you know what? I'm not going to give all the tips away. You got to watch your game bet match later on, available on the Bet Rivers Network.
Well, we're teasing you. We're pointing you there. You gotta go to the extra show. You also got to sign up for the newsletter as well to get in on all the action and get some updates on all the great content on Bet Rivers. Final thoughts, Nigel? Anything else to get to? This is another great show.
No, that's it. I mean, I'm looking forward to Paris next week, the 1,000 in Paris. I know Sean's going to be there on the Instagram account at Because We Win. But for me, my daily double Wang is the bet at -117 to beat Cocciaretto. And then go for Cristian +4.5 at -122 against Alexandrova, who I think will not be the same Alexandrova as we've seen over the last couple of weeks because she can't make the Tour Championships.
That pays out by my calculations +237. So you got a nice little payday doing it. So we'll see. We got Basel and Vienna on the men, Tokyo and Guangzhou this week on the women. This is a great week. Always make sure you download the Bet Rivers app to get in on the action. More tennis next week. Betting Weekly Tennis Live is always Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to have Paris Masters and gear up for the WTA final. So Nigel, this was a blast. Always fun talking tennis with you.
Take care, mate. Have a great day.
Everybody have a great day. This was Betting Weekly Tennis Live, back again Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern time, all part of the Bet Rivers Network. Socials are Because We Win. Hope you enjoyed the show, enjoy the tennis, and we'll talk to you soon. This was Betting Weekly Tennis Live.